Hey, this is your platform.
Well.
I'm going to introduce myself. My name's David Tillison.
And what are we doing tonight?
You didn't introduce yourself.
I'm David.
All right, our guest needs to introduce himself.
Oh.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Leo, also known as Yahweh's Ministry. I have my own TikTok platform, just Yahweh's Ministry. So, but yeah, we're here to talk about some very interesting things. Go right ahead.
So, what's the name of yours?
What?
Your YouTube.
Yeah, the foundation. Yeah.
Right.
What?
This guy can't take care of himself. He's got to be reminded of what he's doing.
I know it. Yeah, we got the foundation and the foundation shirts, and soon foundation coffee cups. That'll be cool.
Where? You ain't made them yet.
Yeah.
You ain't caught you.
But anyway, so David, what are we doing tonight?
Well, we're picking up. I think we're on the 10th. Of the list of 18, it talks about alterations made in the Bible, and what's the rest of the heading?
Bible contradictions.
And its consequences.
Yes, yes, the consequences. That's important. That's important.
So I know last week, the last one we did, we was talking about the King James Bible. Its purpose and its writing was mainly for the Church of England and nobody else. As a matter of fact, he even put a ban on any other English Bibles being printed, just so that King James could get out there, and so what they call the Great Bible or the King's Bible and the Geneva Bible, if they got printed on the black market. That's all I know.
Really?
So, what is the root word for Geneva? Because I know they say Geneva Bible. What does that mean?
David, you need to look at it. Why is it called the Geneva Bible?
Yeah, why is it called a Geneva Bible?
Let's see.
I know. Have you ever heard the Great Bible or the King's Bible?
No, I haven't. That's why I'm like I'm like trying to think like.
That came before the Geneva Bible, and I don't know if it's one of them English kings before James come around. He's the one that ordered that Bible being written.
So this says it was commonly known as a Geneva Bible since it was translated. Since it was a translation by and for English Protestants who fled to Geneva during the reign of the Catholic Queen Mary.
Ah. Okay.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. In England, when one ruler came into power, he's either Catholic or Protestant.
Yeah.
And it just kept going back and forth, and
yeah.
So you had a lot of like you said, I call them refugees. They had to leave England, went to Geneva, Switzerland, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I know that.
Interesting.
I know in the English there was no J.
Yes, that's correct.
Was no J in Latin. There's no J in Greek.
Mm-hmm.
And no J in Hebrew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when these went to Geneva, Switzerland had the letter J. So therefore, Yeshua and all them that got the Y got changed to J. That's why we have Jesus instead of Yeshua. Instead of using Yeshua,
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
I wonder if that's blasphemy.
No.
Well, that's changing the Bible, isn't it? You change the letter.
Yeah. And if you don't mind me sharing this, brothers, so Yeshua is actually translates to Yeshua, Yeshua, as in Joshua. See, if you take the J off of Joshua, you get Yahshua. See, so it still connects to that. So really, Joshua is the name, but of course, take the J out, Yahshua, Yeshua. So it's interesting.
I've heard a lot of people on Reels and YouTube places out there. They're calling Jesus Yeshua.
Mm-hmm.
Y-E-S-U-A.
Mm-hmm.
Spelling it like that. So.
Yep. They also say Yahushua. So you have Yahweh, and then you have Yahuwah, and then you have Yeshua, and then you have Yahushua. Yeah.
So it's not Jehovah.
No.
Wahovah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I think we're on 10. I'll start it, and if it says the same thing we was on last week, I knew I messed up and didn't start in the right place. And number 10 is the New Testament translation of the King James Version. Sometimes even based on ancient text, they don't even know where it came from. The chief source for the writers of the King James he's talking about the New Testament, not the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Right.
Was a Greek edition of Theodore Beza, which included a Latin translation of the Gospel as well. A later noted biblical scholar, Frederick Schreibner, noted 190 instances where the scholars working on the King James Version deviated from the Greek and Latin text and often instead used other existing from other English translations. That's why I think that's why they use the King's Bible and the Geneva Bible. Schreiber noted numerous incidents, more than 36, where the resultant English text had no supporting Greek text from which it was translated. In other words, the King James Version contains many verses which do not appear in the translation of the original Greek. Of course, the New Testament really doesn't have any original manuscripts. They're just copies of letters that they got sent around to all the churches.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We kind of discussed that in Sunday school where when Paul sent one of his letters, like to Corinth, they just didn't hang on to it. I believe they made a copy of it and then sent it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Whoever got that one would make a copy of it. I think that's so. The original letter Paul wrote probably can't be found, but if these guys were diligent enough to copy the letter word for word,
That's true.
You're getting it from Paul's mouth.
Yes.
So closer scrutiny of the original documents, or rather the oldest surviving manuscripts, that'd be more sense as calling them original.
Yeah.
Of the books of the New Testament confirms many of the verses of the King James Version having no supporting source material, hence their omission or reduction to footnotes of subsequent versions of the Bible. Supporters of the King James Version argue that such revision in itself an abomination, since to them the King Version is simply a translation of the Word of God from its original ancient languages. In fact, the King James Version is a conflation of several different Bible translations, from more than a dozen languages, compiled by 47 men and 6 committees. And that was the other thing, was studying what we call Sunday school, is the compilation of the 66 books. How did we get them?
Yeah.
And actually, no church has really canonized those 66 books.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Now you've had the councils back. Well, you had the council of Nicaea. Like that's one of the first councils, but that didn't have nothing to do with canonizing any Bible books.
Right.
You had some guy, I think his name was Arian. He believed instead of Jesus being God incarnate, he believed Jesus was created.
Yeah.
So they formed a council just to blackball him. What they did. But later on, there's around 150 to 170 AD. You had this what they call a muriation.
The Myriad.
M. It starts with an M.
M-O-O-N.
Almost.
Almost.
It's called. It's actually fragments. So I believe a lot of your King James supporters would say, well, there's your first canon of the New Testament. But if you research the guy up, the guy that's named after, he found these lists of New Testament books in 1740. So they really didn't have a name for it back then, but it didn't have all 27 books of the New Testament. It only had 22. So then you get over to there's like 6 more councils, but the Council of Carthage in 397 AD. They're the first one to canonize the Bible, and it wasn't 66 books.
Yeah, it had the Apocrypha in it, right?
No, not all of it.
No?
They had some. They had a different name for the Chronicles, but
Yeah, that was first and second Ephraim, wasn't it?
no,
Back then?
Ezra. They had Ezra, but that became Ezra and Nehemiah.
Yeah.
But they canonized 71 books instead of 66.
Right.
So
What? Yeah. Go ahead.
So you actually you have no real council that's canonized the Bible we've got today.
Right.
It's just been chosen the way it has been. But the 1547, you had the Council of Trent. This was after Martin Luther translated the Bible into German language, and I guess you say Martin Luther is the one who really set up 66 we got now.
Yeah.
But the Council of Trent, which the Catholics put together, they made the Apocrypha part.
Yeah.
They canonized the Apocrypha, so the Catholic Bible's got more books than the Protestant Bible.
I started reading the Apocrypha too.
Good.
It got me interested. Yeah.
It is. Yes. There's a lot of interesting stuff in the Apocrypha. Brother David, if you don't mind me asking you, what is I know you keep saying it's canonized. What do you mean by that?
Well, the canon, the word canon comes from the Greek word. It's spelled, the Greek word is spelled Kanon,
Okay.
but its definition is rule or measuring stick. So when you say if something's canonized, it's the measuring stick of what you use to go by in order to set something up or organize something.
Oh, okay.
Like a measuring stick.
Huh?
Like a measuring stick.
Like a measuring
Yeah,
stick.
like tape measure.
Yeah. If the Bible is 12 inches long, or if your measuring stick's 12 inches long, and you want to make the Bible 12 inches long, that's what you would do.
Yeah.
Measure it.
Yeah.
So, but
I learned something today. Thank you.
the biggest measuring stick in the Bible is the word that teaches itself, and
Yes.
And that's the example that it gives us to follow.
That's right. That's right.
So, but actually, the word canon wasn't used until in the 1800s. So when we say that the Council of Trent canonized their Bible in 1547, I don't think you can use the word canonized.
Right.
That's true.
It's just something we use nowadays to pick up on.
Right. Yeah.
So
Cool.
Yeah. That is neat.
okay. Any input?
Well, I got some Bibles here that I'm sure we'll get into the differences. Or
So far, we've been stuck on the King James.
I know. Yeah.
He's still reigning apparently. No, I'm just okay.
What's going on here?
What are we looking for?
Well, I don't know how I lost some of it. There's the title.
Yeah.
I think it started with number 1, but it jumped. There's no 1 to 10. We just got through with 10. I may have to back out and go in again.
So I have a question.
Yeah, my big fingers got in the way.
Oh, did they?
No, there it is again.
You might need to start
Let me just-
from scratch.
Yeah, let's see what this does. Yeah, there's the introduction.
Yeah.
There's number 1. Yeah, okay. I had to back out and come back in.
So is this a Christian or a Christian organization or a Christian website, or are these atheists or skeptics or
Yeah.
or even worse, Jehovah Witness?
You know, there's also different things. Like there's agnostic, there's atheists.
Yeah.
But go ahead, brother David. Go ahead.
Here's your name you can look up. Larry Hallsworth. I'll have to spell that last name for you. This article came out in 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So he went to.
You got HOLZ.
Oh no. HOLC. Word.
WARTH.
So let's see what we got here.
Who is this guy?
So he is a history journalist. So let's see what we can find. 9 things you didn't know about Robert E. Lee. Peak at FBI's unexplained phenomenal file. That doesn't really tell me anything. Here's one that is an author of a book. But anyway, so is it a Christian website though, or?
It's called the historycollection.com. So
I guess that is him. Yeah.
It could be. It might not even be probably on the Bible. It could be anything in history.
But if he's a skeptic, we don't.
He's just giving some things that he's found out.
Yeah.
Here under here, there's literature, politics, and religion. So I guess we're in the religion section.
Yeah. There you go. I think it's.
Anyway, continue, Dave.
So, but like I said, this is from the historycollection.com.
Okay. Historycollection.com.
If you want to check that out, it'd be interesting to know what else would fall in there. And like even an unbeliever, like someone who doesn't believe in God, right? Like we shouldn't just knock off what they say. You know what I'm saying? If they found something out, like what we're reading here, we shouldn't just dismiss it. We can even learn from unbelievers.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I see. Yeah, definitely. I agree.
See, there's 100%
with that.
Some of these articles we went through, like I said, he talks about the consequences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's not saying if they're good or bad. He's just letting you know what has happened.
Right.
And the idea that the King James Version was written for the Church of England and nobody else.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to leave England.
Yeah.
But when you get religious persecution, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to take the word of God and take it somewhere else where they can get away from the Catholic monarchs.
Which Leo, he taught me this. Did you know that? Is it the Catholics or the papacy is the Antichrist?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but you're talking about Vatican, Rome, the papacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Vatican.
Yeah, you're. What's is ironic is that when the Protestant Reformation started, you had these Catholic priests coming out of the church in the Protestantism, and they're the one that's claiming that the Catholic Church they come out of was the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Well, according to the scriptures, many antichrists have come and are still in the world now.
No, they were claiming that this was the end time Antichrist.
Right.
They were claiming that the Catholic Church is the end time Antichrist.
Yeah, the organization.
Yeah, the organization. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's probably your hierarchy that's
the leader of it all.
The leader of it all. They're the ones that govern the rest of the church, Catholic Church.
Yes.
It's kind of like you see what's been going on with United Methodists. They've been leaving their organization, and I got a pastor friend. He's a Congregational Methodist, and he said there's been 20 of them wanting to join their denomination, and 6 in Alabama, but the statement that he made is probably the same with the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
That the congregation are conservative. It's your laymen, your leaders that are on the left.
Yep.
And that's the reason. Is the congregation is the one that's leaving. It ain't the pastor taking the church. It's the congregation taking the church out of
Right.
United Methodist.
That's true. Yeah.
Of course, they've got to be transition. That's going to be like a delicate matter. They headquarters for the United Methodist. They send the pastor to where they want him to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you may get sent to a church that ain't got many people in it, and you get paid based on that. So you want a big church to make more money if you're a pastor.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's more about a business than it is about giving the word to the people.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to learn how to get a pulpit committee. Probably make up their own bylaws. This is gonna be a process that they got to go through. I don't know. I know like Baptist and Congregation Methodist, probably Church of Christ, Church of God. They own their own property. I don't know about United Methodist.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know too much about them.
And I don't even know if United Methodists have a budget. I mean,
Yeah.
the money. If you need repairs, does the money come from headquarters to fix your church? So, I mean, but there are people doing the right things.
Yeah. I mean, not all churches are tainted, brother. That's true.
Yeah.
Not all churches are tainted. There are true believers out there that truly want to hunger and thirst for Him, truly obey Him. Be obedient, all those things, and serve Him. But it's rare. It's rare to see that nowadays.
Well, they're one of the first ones to make movement. I don't know about you don't hear much going on down here in Alabama about the far left messing with the church and all that stuff. Of course, they call us Christian rednecks down here.
Probably down there too. He's from Texas.
Yeah, I'm from Texas.
You know what a redneck is?
Yes. And it's funny. It's funny. It goes along with how it says in His Word about the stiff-necked people. Yeah.
Well, actually, a redneck is a farmer's tan. Is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
They'd be out in the field all day, and that sun bearing down on the back of their neck.
Yep. They got that red rash.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Leo, have you ever heard of racing, riding lawnmowers?
Racing, riding lawnmowers.
Yes. It's a thing.
Please tell me more about it, brother.
I mean, it's where you go on a dirt track, and I know there's one in South Alabama, and they literally race riding lawnmowers. They have them souped up, and yeah.
They'll put a car engine in a lawnmower.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they altered the engine. They have to, right?
That's what they're putting car engines in lawnmowers.
Wow.
I've seen a V8 engine put in the front end of a 60 model Volkswagen. You had to drive it from the back seat because the engine sticks up into the front of the Volkswagen, and you can't sit in the front because of the engine's taking up most of the space.
That's hilarious. Wow.
But anyway, go ahead,
Invention is just the imagination. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay, we did that one. Moving on to number 11.
Yes.
This says the translation of words and the printing accident that caused a 17th century printer to make a mistake. Oh, this is the Wicked Bible.
Oh man.
The Wicked Bible?
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of this.
The primary motivation for the translators preparing the King James version of the Bible was readability by the fellow English citizenry, as well as the following sweep of the language when passages of the Bible were read aloud from the pulpit. Spelling and punctuation were often changed, however, by the printers who altered the spelling of words or omitted punctuation marks in order to maintain the integrity of the columns in which the volume was printed. The first released edition in 1611 had been carefully set in type. Later editions found printers who were less concerned with what would one day be called quality control and punctuation, capitalization, and even the omission of words and phrases became commonplace.
Wow.
Oh, and that's another thing that brings me to mind. When we was talking about J replacing the Y,
Yeah.
that in the Hebrew there are no capital letters.
Right.
So Lord and God and all them, beginning of sentences,
All lowercase.
were all lowercase.
Yep.
Would be if you're writing it in English.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is. In one instance, in 1631, printers Robert Barker and Martin Lucas, who had printed the first edition of the Authorized Bible, made a printing error which cost them their license as royal printer and a fine equivalent to approximately $75,000 today.
Man. So what was the mistake, Brother David?
In Exodus 20:14,
Let me go there. Let me go there.
You want
Let
to
me
look
go
it up?
there.
You go ahead and look it up.
Okay.
Tell me what it says.
Yeah. Read it to us.
All right, Exodus 20:14. Let me go there. Okay, it says, okay, the Ten Commandments. It says, never commit adultery.
Do you know how the Old English put it?
How?
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the thou part, yeah.
So in the King James version, that's what it says. But their error was that they left the word "not" out. And when they printed it, it says, "Thou shalt commit adultery."
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
That's good.
That's the one. That's 1631. That's why that's called the Wicked Bible.
I ain't making note of that.
Just that one knot, just taking out that one knot made the Bible wicked, huh? Wow. Why not?
I can see a lot of atheists liking that verse.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
An outraged king ordered all copies of the misprinted book be seized and burned, and possession of the Bible became a crime. But a few copies survived into the 21st century. How much one of them would cost? It's got to be. They got to be in a museum somewhere.
Yeah, for real. No joke. Oh.
While not all misprints and similar errors are as obvious, this incident illustrates how the simple misplacement of a single word can change the meaning completely.
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how one word, yeah, it's true. You take one word out or you replace it with another word, you can change the whole meaning of the sentence.
Right.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
Now,
That's true.
shall commit adultery.
I'm sure there's more alterations in there. In
Well, it's like you
that
said,
Bible.
that was too obvious to miss on that one, though.
Yeah.
That 1631, if these guys were in a hurry or
Yeah.
just because they've been doing it for 20 years,
Yeah.
they just got complacent.
Yes. Yeah.
And look what it cost them.
Yeah.
$75,000 a day's money.
But that just proves the error of men, the error of man. And this is why we should not rely on on what people tell us, but we should actually read the scriptures and allow the scriptures to speak to us, and tell us what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I come across a reel. This guy was coming at the printing aspect of the Bible, and he had lined up in front of him about 7 or 8 copies of the Bible, different sizes. They're like from 1400 up to today. And he said, no two Bible reads the same. And I'm assuming they're the same version. It might have been all King James. He said the Bible has been printed over 500 billion times.
Oh, yeah. Probably more than that.
And there's 100 versions in English.
Yeah. Again, probably
So-
more than that.
So he just saying that what he was saying is that it was not his place to find which Bible is the real Bible. He said, I'll just leave that up to the scholars.
Yeah.
And I don't think the scholars nowadays are ever going to figure that out either.
That is true. That is true, brother. That is true. Because again, if we're leaving it up to the scholars, once again, what are we doing? We're leaving it up to man. See?
Yeah, we got this lady at church. She went to Scotland. I think it was Edinburgh to study at a university, and she come back. It was before Christmas. She come back. I guess she might have just stayed there like a semester, but she said that the professors that were teaching those courses were atheists.
I believe that.
So I mean,
I believe that.
I mean,
I went to the University of Houston. That's where I went. I went to the University of Houston, and I took that philosophy class, and I guarantee you, the whole semester was all about how God does not exist. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it was about, and they actually made me write a 12-page paper on suicide. Yes.
boy, you had to do some digging for that one.
But I knew deep in my heart and soul, that I would never do that, right? But I'm just saying, like, that was definitely crazy.
Do you have to write suicide in a for a religious background, or could it be just write down different methods of killing yourself?
So there's a book, I think it's called, I think the name of the author is David Hume, and it's all about suicide. And basically in that book, he tries to basically convince someone that this is perfectly normal, it's okay to do, and these are the reasons why. I kid you not. I kid you not. And I was just like, I mean, I resisted that thing so many times. I resisted because I'm like, no, I don't want to be writing about this. Like, this is crazy. But I had to do it, right? I had to do it for my class. And I hated that class.
Well, it sounds like to me that these professors over there in Scotland, they're just treating the Bible like it's literature and not
Yes,
not the Word of God.
correct. Or what do they say?
Yeah.
They say allegory, or like it's just a story. It's fictional, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just yeah. That's the big one they like to say. But go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
I'd like to wonder how they would come about understanding the symbolism and metaphors that the
that's
Bible
true.
spits out. I mean, that's hard enough as it is. All right, going on. We're at number 12. Oh, it looks like we're getting away from the King James Version for a chance. The Septuagint and Hebrew mistranslations could hold major revelations about the Virgin Mary. Now they're gonna jump on the incarnation.
Yep.
Yep.
All the different Bible versions do it. That's why they're not picking on the King James this time.
The text,
King James doesn't do that.
the text of the Hebrew Bible was translated into Greek more than 2 centuries before the Common Era, meaning some Old Testament books were available in Greek before the New Testament was written. The Greek translation is known as the Septuagint. The Septuagint is generally agreed upon by scholars as containing numerous errors of translation based upon poorly understood Hebrew synonyms.
That's
Yeah, that brings me into mind. After the apostles received the Holy Spirit and their Pentecost, they were speaking in different languages, kind of like the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it made probably your Pharisees and Sadducees and your learned Jewish fellow men wondered how could these fishermen learn to speak like that?
Yeah.
Because even all the children had to go to school up to like they got 12 years old.
Yeah.
Is that when they got the bar mitzvah?
Yeah, bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Or no, it's not bar mitzvah. It's
some of them would when they got to that age, they usually followed in their father's footsteps their trade. Some would go on to be rabbis and priests and stuff. So I'm assuming that all the apostles, when they reached 12, they went into their father's trade because none of them was rabbis when Jesus found them.
Quinceañera.
Huh?
Quinceañera, I think it is. Yeah.
Well, what one guy was talking about the language that Peter and them would speak would be the Southern language.
Mm-hmm.
They would use y'all and words like that.
Yeah.
Ain't. That's the kind of language they were speaking.
Yes.
And here at Pentecost, they spoke like real learned men.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
That gone into being rabbis.
Right.
And the story behind that is, when you have Passover, you still got, the northern tribes, the the other 10 tribes were still scattered. And not only that, when Alexander the Greek started his eastward movement in conquering the known world then, when he got to Israel, your priests and rabbis and all them, they showed him in Daniel that he was coming.
Yeah.
And that impressed him. So you never hear of Alexander the Great having a conflict with the Jews.
Right.
What he did was he'd take some with him, and he took them all the way to India, and they ended up living over there. So they're Jews, but they're not speaking Hebrew anymore. Whatever that language was over there, that's what they learned. But they were still Jews, and they're coming back to Jerusalem for the Passover. And that's why these apostles were speaking in different languages. They were speaking in the languages of the ones that had come from foreign places and didn't know Hebrew anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of your, that's where a lot of your Pentecostals jump on the doctrine of tongues.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And if you don't mind me saying, brothers, Pentecost is actually coming. It'll be by the end of April. Pentecost will begin in May.
It's 40 days after the crucifixion, wasn't it?
I don't know the exact. Don't quote me on that. I don't know.
Well, I know Jesus.
Yeah.
Was back 40 days after he risen. He was with the disciples for 40 days,
mm-hmm.
and then he that's when he went up in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
But that's after that. I think that's when they went in that upper room, and I think it was 120 of them then. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's about 40 days, maybe 45 or something like after he rose from the grave.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It's coming up. Okay, back to the subject here. Hey, Dave, it's getting dark in here.
I know.
That's why I got the light on. Because without the light,
looking in here, it looks like the light's on behind us, but it ain't.
Yeah.
I look at David; he's in the dark. The translators allowed several Hebrew words to be used interchangeably when their meanings in the original were very much different. One of these is the Hebrew word alma, A-L-M-A, which was translated into Greek as meaning virgin, when in fact it refers to a young woman. Betula, B-E-T-U-L-A-H, being the Hebrew word to refer to a pure woman, that is a virgin. Isaiah 7:14 prophecies the birth of Emmanuel to a virgin, and is quoted in the first chapter of Matthew describing the virgin birth of Christ.
Yes.
One of the bases of Christianity. But Isaiah uses the Hebrew word A-M-A-H, meaning a young woman, rather than B-E-T-U-L-E-H, meaning a pure woman. Matthew quotes the virgin birth as being the fulfillment of the prophet, the delivery of the Messiah. But the translation is wrong. The word A-M-A-H appears only once in Isaiah in 7:14, but the word B-E-T-U-L-A-H appears 5 times in the book, each time clearly in reference to a virgin. You can find that in Isaiah 23:4, 23:12, 37:22, 47:1, and 62:5. The translation into Greek remains the source of the description of the prophecy of the virgin birth. It is not apparent in the original Hebrew.
So What was the Hebrew for both of them? I have an answer for that. I have a real genuine answer for that. Go ahead.
Let me go back and see where these words.
Yeah.
There's that one.
Yeah, the Hebrew needs to be in the right context, brother. If it's not in the right context, it's not going to make sense.
Well, in context or not. I mean, they're what he's trying to do is he's trying to find something wrong with the Bible, and skeptics always do this. So
Right.
But read it again.
I don't know if he's trying to find anything wrong. It's just he's I don't know if he's probably not familiar with Greek or Hebrew. He's probably found this article from somebody else.
yeah. I mean,
But
I understand that, but I'm not doubting that that's what it says in Hebrew, because that's what it probably does say in Hebrew.
well, it does say.
But what's the name and the meanings of the one from Isaiah and the one from Matthew?
Well, what he's saying here is that translators were using several Hebrew words to be used interchangeably when their meanings in the original were very much different.
Right. So we got.
To them, it didn't matter if this Hebrew word was spelled this way or this way, it still meant this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it says one of these Hebrew word alma, which was translated into Greek,
right,
as meaning virgin, when in fact it refers to a young woman. Betulh being the word to refer to a pure woman, that is a virgin.
So can a young woman be a pure woman?
Well, see, that's the idea of the translators, is that the words are interchangeable.
Right.
They're making ALMA the same as BETULAH, which translates virgin.
Right.
Let's see, it goes on talking. We was talking about Isaiah.
Yeah, 7:14.
Yeah. He says it uses AMAH, meaning a young woman, rather than BETULH, meaning a pure woman. Oh.
Yeah.
When the first word I read out to you was ALMA.
Alma.
Well, it means a young woman, and down here in Isaiah, he uses AMAH instead of ALMA, and they both mean young woman, but they're spelled different.
Yeah,
it's like he's used. The translators, like I said, we're using or interchanging everything.
Yeah, right.
Of course, we know that, I don't know if it's from tradition, but Mary, I think, was a teenager when she married Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in the process of being engaged too. Didn't they have like engagement? Yeah.
Yeah, he had to be about 10 years older than her or something.
Yeah. Probably.
You know what we call that today, don't you?
What?
Robbing the cradle.
That's true. Oh man.
Good times.
Well, David said something last night.
What did I say?
That goes in the opposite direction. He prefers older women.
Yeah. Well, David, you want to pick up in here
how long have we been on?
About an hour.
Yeah, it'll be about an hour here in a minute.
We'll take a 10-minute break.
10 minutes, exactly, right?
Yep.
Well, That means we'll have to send you another
Invite.
invite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's see. This was
we did 11 and 12, didn't we?
yeah. I think we're on 13. Yeah, 13.
Cool.
Ooh, David,
What? Oh,
you cut us off.
no, I don't think so.
Where's the picture?
Yeah, where are you guys? I don't see you guys.
There we go. I pressed the button and it just
I
went
see
away.
myself now. Actually, towards the middle of the live, I was able to start seeing myself. I'm like, okay, I guess my faith worked.
Did you set a timer?
I did.
He was setting a timer on. He put 10 minutes on there.
All right. We will see you in 10 minutes.
Sounds good, brothers.
Go get dessert.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I know.